Okay, we are all here. As soon as the atomic clock strikes 2, I'll call the meeting to order. All right, it is 2 p.m. on Thursday, August 6th. This is a special meeting of the Land Use Review Board. I am Janet Hurley, the chair. I will ask other board members to introduce themselves. Brooke.
Good afternoon, Brooke Dingledine.
Kirsten.
Kirsten Sultan. Hi, everyone.
Sarah.
Good afternoon, Sarah Hatt.
Thank you. Alex Weinhagen is absent today. So there are 4 board members constituting a quorum. We will be discussing 2 pre-application responses today, but before we launch into that, are there any agenda updates from board members? Okay. And then is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Steve Whitaker. I have a very brief comment, and I sent along a 2-page explainer of it. Steve Whitaker from Montpelier. I want to bring the board's attention to the document that I submitted, a 2-page proposal for standardizing public notice of hearing rights in regional plan adoption. I hope members will get a chance to look at that if you haven't already. Here's the problem it addresses. Under 24 VSA 4348 I, a resident's right to later object to this board if a regional plan is adopted depends on one very specific thing: making written or oral comments, stating objections at an officially warned public hearing held by a regional planning commission. Not a committee meeting, not an executive committee meeting. The comment submitted not a comment submitted through email or an online form. It has to be that specific type of hearing. Nothing in Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission's current public materials, or nothing in most regional planning commissions materials statewide tells residents that distinction exists. People show up, engage in good faith at meetings they reasonably believe are to count, and only learn afterwards that the specific procedural step the statute required never happened for them. This isn't a defect unique to Central Vermont. It's a structural gap that this board is uniquely positioned to close once and for all 11 regions, rather than leaving each region to improvise its own language on the eve of its own hearings. The document I've submitted proposes an adoptable model language for the board to require or simply to offer as a template, explaining the hearing distinction, telling residents how to get on a hearing notice list, explaining the 2 paths available to act as a group or 20 signature petition, or a community or interest group requesting notice status. It also proposes a minimum distribution standard so the information reaches people through the channels they actually use: town clerk posting locations, libraries, and standard municipal committees whose work intersects with the plan, not just the interior page of an RPC website. I asked the board to consider adopting this or something like it as a standard practice going into hearings statewide. And the reason this came up and that I devoted the last 12 hours to preparing this is that last night our Complete Streets Committee met and had no clue at all of the impacts of this regional plan or the approaching deadlines and their role in informing Complete Streets principles on any planned growth areas. So that created quite a fracas at the end of last night's meeting, and here's a proposed solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other public comment on non-agenda items today? Okay, we will then move on to item D, which is the Two Rivers Ottaquechee Regional Commission pre-application response, the draft. I'm going to share my screen. I shared on our website an earlier version, but I have continued to work on it over the course of the last couple of days. Sarah, sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Just in keeping with past practice is I will be off screen waiting for Wyndham. I will still be in the meeting, but I plan on not participating in Two Rivers Ottacricci unless you need to call me. So I'll
Okay,
take my
thank you.
leave and see you in a little bit.
Okay, thanks. Okay, as I said, I'm going to share my screen. And can you see that?
I can, but it'd be helpful if you could make it a little bit bigger.
Better, Kirsten?
Yes, that's great.
Okay. Thank you, Brooke, for catching that this one didn't have draft on the first page. And I had caught that on the header earlier to identify that this was a draft for Two Rivers. For those who don't know what RPC 10 is. But there were also some funny, there was some funny punctuation within the board review paragraph here that I fixed, and Kirsten went ahead and did the same with the Wyndham region paragraph, and that's just a problem that we need to fix in the shell. So that's highlighted. So I'm gonna scroll through unless board members would rather do this differently, and I will stop where I have where we have redlining. I'll pause there to see if there's any conversation about the new language. So this I think, can somebody say something?
We hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Something. Speak again?
Can hear you.
Oh, yeah, my earbuds stopped working, so I will just put them down. So in any case, this is sort of just a reorganization of this information. And we were trying to boost our cross-referencing within this document to other sections that expressed detailed requests for revision. So any questions on this, board members?
I'm sorry, what page are you on right now? I was looking at
Oh,
my own
I'm sorry,
version.
page 3. Sorry, page 3,
Okay.
which, yeah. So this isn't omitted. I just put it here under requested information and made reference to further detail on these issues in other parts of the plan under energy, transportation, housing, and land use. So,
Yeah, before you move on, in the very top paragraph that's on the screen, the board is unable to determine whether the draft regional plan appears to conform. I think that I don't believe that it appears to conform. But then when we go into requested information, I wanted to query whether or not that would be required information.
you want to make this required? Is that what you're suggesting, Brooke? I would be
Right.
okay with that, because as we look at these in these other sections, they do become more required. So I'm happy to say, oops, required here.
Great.
And to say the draft regional plan appears not to conform. Is that, does
Yeah,
that
'cause-
address your issues? Okay.
right, because I felt like unless they're able to provide information that shows that the mandatory language throughout the plan protects the constitutional rights of the people, I felt like that was required in order to pass on that initial requirement.
There's a direct reference to constitutional property rights further down in the plan here, so
Yeah, I don't think you
Yes.
need to reference, to put that language in here, but that was the
Yeah.
basis for why I
Yeah.
felt it was really required.
yep. And then I had moved this second paragraph to another section, but then in rereading it, decided it was much better here. So I put it back. So just in case you're following this and wanted to know, I didn't delete anything. I moved it, but then I decided it was best where it was originally. Kirsten.
Thank you. That was one of my questions. Can we go back up to
Okay.
page 3 for
Yeah.
a moment? The first bullet, provide additional information demonstrating that the region's rural communities are in support. From my perspective, it's all communities, including rural. And I don't know if one could necessarily
Yeah.
identify, exactly which ones would be rural. So to me, it could read, provide additional information demonstrating that the region's communities, including rural communities or importantly rural communities, are in
Yeah.
support. I think it's good to mention it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's that most of that mandatory language is directed at the rural areas, but not
Right.
all. And you're right, this is about the general region, not just rural.
Yeah.
So
But we
yes.
could put, after the word communities, you could put comma, in particular rural communities,
That's
just for a
okay. I
little
think it'll be
emphasis.
clear throughout the
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you. Okay, no changes here. I'm gonna keep scrolling. Those are no changes since we last discussed. We got through most of part 1, as we've been calling it. So, unless a board member has questions about one of these part 1 sections, as I'm scrolling, I'll keep scrolling. So,
Can you slow down just for a sec?
yes, this
I'm
is
just I'm trying to catch up with you to look at my own version.
I'm at goal 15.
Okay.
On page 14 of this version. So no changes yet from
And
last.
at one general comment I had that was on page 14 of the PDF copy, so it may not be right here, but there were some acronyms that I think just needed to be spelled out.
Yeah, the BIPOC
Yeah.
and ESL.
Yeah. Did you catch that? Thank you.
Yeah, I used those because the regional commission did, but I think we should probably mirror the language and statute instead.
Yep.
So I'll make that change. Thank you, Kirsten. Okay, so to part C, conformance with outreach requirements. I added several references to more feedback that we've been getting in the interim here. And I added that most of those comments are about the mandatory policies. So particularly with respect to, and let's see, any discussion on this from board members? Okay, I'm gonna keep going then. That was one of our major issues with the plan. No, Una.
Okay. Could you just scoot back up to page 18? I just want to double check the board response there, just right there. Hold on. Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. No changes. I did add this thermal energy policy section that had been inadvertently omitted in the previous version that we discussed a week and a half ago. So that is now in here. And I corrected the spelling of prescriptive.
Just give us a second on 19 at the middle. Can
The
you go up
middle.
just a scooch? Let's see, energy. No, okay, the board response under energy. If you could show that
Yeah.
whole thing, like just stay there for a second for me.
Yep.
Excellent, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Transportation, not new from our last discussion. And this isn't new, but this is part of the crux of our issue with this plan, compatibility with others. So just reiterating that here.
Jenna, could you go up to the top of 22 for me? Great, thank you.
Housing. We are requiring additional information on particular policies or revision of those policies. And
Jenna,
almost, yeah,
on page 25, under economic development,
Yeah.
the advisory recommendations, the third bullet. It talks about the
Oh, yeah.
following statement, and it talks about, it references a Supreme Court decision that determined the extent of regulatory authority of municipalities over farming.
right.
And there has, this past legislative session, there was a bill that was referenced as H 941, which turned into Act 166, that related to municipal regulation of agriculture that replaces the decision of the Supreme Court by statutory language, because there was significant concern that our decades of precedent protecting small farms from a patchwork of local town rules would result in difficulties and non-consistent regulatory provisions in different towns over farming.
Right.
So I think it's important to draw attention, and we can wordsmith it later if you don't want to spend the time now, but to make sure that they are cued into the law as it was enacted on July 1st of this year, that so that the Supreme Court case is no longer precedential because it was replaced by that statutory provision of Act 166.
So this is just an advisory recommendation to put some context in the narrative, because they refer to the court conclusion without even talking about the court case. So I think what you're suggesting is asking the Regional Planning Commission to update its material on the regulation of accessory on-farm businesses to reflect current law. Whereas this is just a kind of a minor editing comment. So I think we could, above advisory, add a comment that addresses what you're asking. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
it would
I think-
sort of make this moot and we could almost take it out,
Mhm.
you know? So,
And I think it should be required because it is important to be current in terms of the current law as it was passed this past legislative session. It's a very important point for our farming communities and our municipalities in terms of what they should or shouldn't be doing in terms of their bylaws.
um, well, I'm gonna put a ... here, and what I'm gonna ask is that Kirsten and Brooke and I agree that we will wordsmith this to reflect what Brooke is expressing. Because what I'd like to do is to finish this today and adopt it as our response. So at this meeting, because we are not meeting again before this is due. So Kirsten, if you are good with that, yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
very comfortable with you and Brooke finalizing that wording.
Yeah.
And Janet, I could even work on that when you're discussing Wyndham, since I'm not assigned to Wyndham. And we could come back and
Come back
revisit
to it.
the
Yeah,
language that I
that
could
sounds like
draft
a-
it.
that
Okay.
sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Great.
So I'm just gonna add here, oops. Okay, so moving on, future land use. So, there are a couple, and I don't think we got, did we get through any of the future land use in our open meeting week and a half ago? I don't think we
I
did.
don't think we did.
So-
No.
Yeah,
I
so
think
this
this
is
is where we
new.
left off.
Discussion. So the first two comments here are that there are some deficiencies, and this is the general sort of indication of what they are, and that they will be further detailed in the coming pages here. So okay, so downtown
So,
and village
can I-
centers.
Can we
Yes.
go back to that wording? Those two
Yeah.
bold paragraphs? So the first paragraph opens with the draft regional plan appears to meet this requirement. However, so I think it could be a little confusing to the reader. I think we may want to word that to say something like the draft regional plan, can meet this requirement. I mean, I don't know if Brooke, if you kind of read
Yeah.
it a little bit in the way that I am.
So it contains a future land use element that does these things, but it has these mandatory provisions that that are problematic, and it may have some boundary issues on the future land use map, but it does contain the element, and the element does address what statute and 4348A 12 asks of it for a land use element.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think it's clear in that it says will require revision. I mean, it's fine. It gave me
Okay.
a little pause just mentioning it.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think, though, that I do want to convey that the element is there. It
Mm.
has some internal problems.
Yeah, I think
So-
that's consistent with what we did with other regions as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so downtown centers. There are two. They appear to meet the statutory standards for downtown centers. They are in Randolph and White River Junction. We had one recommendation that is just to include consider rewording the recommendations to focus on what the commission will do rather than what other entities will do. So village centers, there are 63 proposed in 30 towns throughout the region. 47 of them reflect expansions of legacy centers, and one is an expansion of a legacy center in the NVDA region in South Rygate. 14 are proposed new centers to help accommodate regional housing targets. And it appears that 49 of the proposed village centers meet statutory standards. And then there are 14 that we enumerate some issues with that need to be addressed. Okay, are any of those village centers that either of you need to discuss?
I did have just one question, and this goes back to the conversation that Alex and I were having about Brookfield Center Village, where I indicated it is a hub of civic activity, but he said, but there's no commercial. And so I was just trying to recall whether both were required or if it was one or the other.
So provide additional information on community economic activity and civic assets. Let's see, we can go back to the language right here. Downtown and village centers. These areas are mixed use, bringing together community activity and civic assets, or economic activity and civic assets. So seems like they're both required. So not just residential and a civic asset perhaps, but I think this is asking for more information on that. And part of what the board has communicated out is that these are plans, right? So if it's not currently reflective of what is described in statute, what we want to see are municipal planning that that envisions it that way. So yeah. Good to go?
Yep.
Okay, planned growth areas next. There are 3 planned growth areas depicted in 3 towns. 2 of them meet the standards, but we need more information on the Bradford planned growth. Sorry, I have to get a puppy from chewing on something.
Thought that's what all this was.
Very sorry. So here, this is required information that we need for the Bradford PGA. And I guess we also, those appear to meet. Why do we have Randolph here if it's, I may need to change this. Oh, because this is village area. So there's a portion of the Randolph map that shows village area between planned growth and enterprise, right? And that's what this is. No, that's not what this is addressing. I'm conflating that with NVDA. These areas appear to have, oh, So there's a transition to village area in Randolph, and there doesn't seem to be much distinction in terms of um, uh, uh, water sewer service. So it's unclear why there's this transition to village area. So it's kind of a village area comment that is cross-referenced here. Okay to move on, Kirsten?
I think it's okay, but I kind of feel like this isn't a required item. It's just kind of like a mention that maybe the PGA for Randolph could change. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, if you wanted to reformat it into a, you know, also see comments under Randolph Village area kind of mention, that might be cleaner.
Fix the formatting on that. Okay. Let's go to village areas where we will encounter that again, but 15 village areas, 10 towns, 11 appear to meet the standards. And we have a need for more information on 4 of them, including the Randolph. So I guess I felt like it was more of a required because it does not touch the center, Kirsten. So if you're okay, I'd like to just change
Yeah,
that
that's-
previous section
that's-
to reflect that.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm a little confused though, because I thought that Alex had indicated when we did Northwest, there was not a concern about, you know, how an NVDA had inserted kind of a sliver because
Yes.
of the 2 flu areas that couldn't come into contact with one
Right.
another, but we had allowed it for Northwest. It was,
I still think it's problematic to use village areas that way. They're supposed to be, you know, if we're using, I mean, they're supposed to be like planned growth areas. Except that maybe not as, they're supposed to have mixed uses of economic and civic and residential. And I still think it's a problem that some regions are using them as more just denser residential. That's what NVDA was talking about doing, I think. Or no, it was Two Rivers. That's how they talked about this, as, you know, transitioning to village area from planned growth area where it was primarily residential. And I don't think that's how statute describes village areas, as primarily residential. Describes them as very similar to planned growth areas, just that they don't necessarily have to have as the same level of services in terms of water sewer. So so that I think that Two Rivers is, the way they talked about it in the meeting with us is a little bit different than what the others were doing, Brooke. I think the NVDA example was very specific. They were using it as a buffer, which I also felt was problematic. And I can't recall exactly the situation for Northwest that you're referring to, but I still think that this is problematic. Transition areas. We did talk about this a little bit last time, I think, that I felt like the way they're mapped is fine, But the way that they're talked about in the plan as being reserved for high uh, um, land consumptive uses was problematic because the statute describes these as areas that would transition to mixed use sort of planned growth village area or centers. So to posit them in the plan as being places that would be good for new land consumptive uses, I felt was problematic. The other issue with them is that we don't know what the situation is for 12 of them in terms of public water or sewer and whether there are plans to bring those services to those areas as mapped transition and fill. Any comments there, board members? Okay. Resource-based recreation areas, I discovered yesterday that there are actually 6 that are mapped on the the draft future land use map. There were 2 that were neglected to be mentioned in the narrative in the land use chapter. One is the Woodstock Resort Ski Area in Pomfret. It is mapped as resource-based recreation, and another are the shorelines around the Woodward Reservoir in Plymouth. And a lot of that is primarily farm and wilderness camp land. It came to my attention because Farm and Wilderness brought it to my attention with questions about what those land use categories would mean to their potential future uses. So I discovered that yesterday and added this language. So I don't know if you've had a chance to review it. Both of you, did you get a chance to look at that last night or this morning, Brooke? Okay. Did we lose Brooke? Brooke, are you there? Are you there?
Can you
Brooke?
hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Did we lose you momentarily?
I've lost audio. I cannot hear you. If you can hear me, I'm going to sign
Oh,
out
no.
again.
Okay. We'll wait for Brooke to come back.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you
Yes.
hear us? Uh-oh.
I
She's
cannot
lost her
hear
audio.
you.
I'm gonna ping her on the phone and she might have to do what I had to do a couple weeks ago, and that is use the phone for audio. Catherine, can you send Brooke a text on her phone and ask her to use her phone for audio?
Okay.
Okay, she
She's
got the
nodding.
message.
Okay, I think I can hear you guys.
Yep. Okay. Can you hear
Okay.
us?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
on my phone, but I'll stay on
Okay.
camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks. That's what I had to do a couple weeks ago for a while. So did you get a chance to review this proposed language last night or this morning, Brooke, on the resource-based recreation?
Yes, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
And
caught up.
you're good with it?
Fine.
Okay. Okay, enterprise, no issues, some advisory recommendations. Same with Hamlets. And now rural areas. So here's a description of what they are, and here is our response. So again, as stated earlier, we are focusing on a lot of mandatory provisions and asking that they either be revised to be non-mandatory or that more information is provided to justify their inclusion. And so we call out specific policies and discuss them each. And then we have some advisory recommendations. Do you need to discuss any of these required provisions, Kirsten or Brooke? For policy number 3, number 11, or number 2 in the rural general category? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move along to rural agriculture and forestry. So similarly, there are four mandatory provisions that we are requesting more information on. So same issue, make them non-mandatory or demonstrate that they don't conflict with adopted plans of municipal plans, but also that they have the support of the municipal members of the commission. And here, Brooke, is the AOFB. Did you get a chance to look over that language? And
Yeah, I'm trying to compare it to the non-red line strikeout version that I did review.
okay,
And I did appreciate the language requiring either non-mandatory or demonstration that it was supported by the municipalities and the citizenry. Well, but my issue with the AOFB limitations, I think, goes farther than just the municipalities. Let me say this. I have not had the opportunity to give thought to the notion about conflicting with member municipality zoning allowances in light of the new statutory
Yeah.
change, which doesn't eliminate municipal regulation. There is still some that can occur, but I don't know that I would be satisfied with, oh, just because the towns say so kind of notion for the majority of the towns, because I think there are state statutory provisions now that were added vis-a-vis S325, but
Yeah.
also right now we are engaged in a study and further recommendations to the
Yeah.
legislature for next session. Can I come back with that, to talk about that when we come back on the other
Sure.
similar issue after you do the
Yep.
window review? Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
So can I make a comment as well about that?
Yeah.
When you're considering some updated wording, Brooke, I think that we should be careful in identifying legislative intent. Like just see if you can reword it to not here be defining that.
Yeah, it's, there are unknowns at this point for sure.
Yeah, but I agree with everything you said.
I think that it also goes to the issue of, what the legislature was concerned about was a patchwork of municipal regulations. And I guess, in an analogous application, it would also be concerning if there were differing standards for that regionally. Regional patchwork as well. So my concern is that it exceeds the authority of what's appropriate for regulation that either should be on a more localized level, which now we know ought not to be. It just seems very inconsistent to then allow it on a regional basis as opposed to, we know now it's not appropriate necessarily on a municipal basis because of
So,
that inconsistency issue. So, there would be also the issue of, does this work with the neighboring plans, regional plans as well? Is it consistent with those?
just doing a quick time check. I would appreciate if you can work on that while we're tackling Wyndham Brook, and we can come back to
Sure.
it after, later. Okay, so rural conservation. Very similar. There are mandatory policies that need more, consideration as to whether they are appropriate. So, before Alex left, he gave me some comments on, wording these in a way that, that we shouldn't make the regional commission demonstrate that it has that all of these policies have the support of, the citizenry, so to speak. They are creatures of their member municipalities, and if their member municipalities, if they can demonstrate support of their member municipalities, maybe we don't need to word this to force them or require them to show that the citizenry in general supports. And I kind of agree with him. So I just changed that a little bit to focus on the member municipalities in the wording. Neil. Neil, can you hold off until we get through the whole document?
Sure. I want to circle back to that exact comment. So
Okay.
I'll shut up, but I want to come back to that
Okay,
one.
sure. Brooke and Kirsten, do you need to discuss this rural conservation further?
No, but I would love to hear what Neil has to say because
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with Alex on that.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
so
same.
Tier 1B. I think we pointed out that Woodstock Village needs to adopt subdivision regulations in order to be eligible. So, and then the others, just pointing out that several of them don't have river corridor regulations. So we need to be careful that those areas that are included in river corridors are areas of infill for those municipalities. So, and then this is a comment that we have on all of our tier 1B responses, and that is to the extent that underlying future land use areas don't meet requirements, those would need to change before the tier 1B status could be conferred. So that's it. Let's go to Neil.
Thank you. Thanks for all you're doing. Going back to that prior suggestion by Alex, I want to provide, not to put Corinth on the spot, but just to say that the Two Rivers informational meeting back in November of 25 wasn't warned. So almost no one was there. The draft regional plan, which was sent to our select board chair, she never disseminated to the rest of the select board, and she hasn't read it. And our commissioner did not let our planning commission know that the draft plan and the pre-application hearing was happening. So that is simply an example of, I do not know how our commissioner could represent public or municipal sentiment in that process, given that there was simply never a meeting on the land use chapter, the housing chapter. Our select board and our planning commission truly have never touched it throughout the entire process. So other than our commissioner attending meetings, there's just been zero activity on the regional plan in our town. And I know Bradford has had a similar experience where they are much more engaged in the process, and the planning commission is generally opposed, and the select board is generally opposed, and members of the public are opposed to some of these provisions. But their commissioner is sort of an alternative perspective. And she's the one vote for that community. So it strikes me that, if 18 of the 30 commissioners approve the plan, that may or may not be a representation of municipal sentiment.
I agree. And I think that the meaningful engagement and outreach sections of our response are where to hang our hats there.
Yeah,
And
so that's not a failure of Two Rivers in this instance. It's simply a failure of, our town to
representation.
kind of,
Yeah.
right.
Well, and
Right.
I'll say this, Neil, Act 181 brought the regional planning process into the open, and now people are paying attention to it and caring. And
Yeah.
I think it will probably mean that, you will have more at stake. Your municipal representative will, be more accountable to the communities. And I don't mean to suggest that they weren't accountable, but that nobody felt like this stuff mattered before.
Yeah,
And
right.
now,
We had several
now they
communities
do.
had zero. Yeah, several communities had 0% attendance at the board meetings over the last 9 meetings, for example. So I think you're right. I just hope we don't have to wait 8 years to iron out the wrinkles.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Brooke, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what Neil says is really important. And, the other thing is that we have given some thought to the regional differences between our 11 regions. And Two Rivers encompasses a lot of small rural towns where, folks, not that they aren't all over the state, primarily volunteers, but certainly in terms of zoning and planning commissions and that kind of thing, there is not the necessarily the professional expertise of hired individuals for a lot of our towns. And, the other thing that I would also point to is that the objector status of one establishing participation at the adoption process at the regional plan and then coming back to us when we're looking at the actual application of the adopted plan does not depend only on municipalities or governmental entities to bring issues forward that are being objected to. So I think that given that this is to be a collaborative process, I think it's very important that we make sure that the public, the citizenry is being responded to, and not just come and listen or come and speak and then nothing happens to their input. it gives me cause for concern that we would limit that only to an official position by a town. So I would
It-
argue for the citizenry to be referred to even in this kind of section.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
I
very
don't
important.
feel, I feel like we, what we need to do as a board is add, standards to our Regional Planning Commission application guidance that tell the RPCs what, you know, what the bar is for meaningful participation. And, I don't think we know exactly what we're going to say on that front yet. But I do want to get to that in the coming, weeks. So, I'm okay with putting it back in here for now, Brooke. I just wanted to give Alex some say here, even though he skipped town on us at the end here. So, I do think that, you know, we should be, careful not to require of TRORC something that we didn't require of anyone else, right? In terms of, you need to show that your citizenry broadly is behind all this, right? So,
But
I
the
do
other-
think that this is, as Neil described, it's very transitional. Nobody cared about this until Act 181 brought the regional planning process out into, public view, so to speak. And people now understand that, you know, these plans could be important. They could have implications. We need to be aware of them as citizens, and we need to be involved in their drafting and adoption. So,
But I would point out that we also have not seen, I think we're at like 81 exhibits right now on our database where we have heard from many citizens as well as municipalities in this region. And that was not the case in the other regions. So to me, I think the burden has now shifted if it ever left Regional Planning Commission to demonstrate that all of the voices that we have heard are being listened to, responded to, and those issues are being resolved. So, and I do appreciate we do have good language in other portions of this response document. So,
okay. I'm happy to include the citizenry in these comments at this point.
I agree.
so-
That's appropriate.
Okay, so it is almost 3:00. Are you two good to come back to this after Wyndham? And tie up a couple of loose ends, after Wyndham?
Sure,
So-
and get it to the finish line, hopefully. Yep.
Yeah, so Sarah's back. I have to go put a dog in a crate because the dog is being really disruptive. So if you can give me 2 minutes, I'll be right back. Thank you. Maybe I don't. She laid down and is sleeping now. Thank goodness. Okay, knock on wood. Kirsten, do you want to drive?
Sure.
and I'll be going off camera presently, and I'll be working on Two Rivers to come back later since I'm not assigned to Wyndham.
Okay,
But
thank you,
it's
Brooke.
If something comes up, just ding me, if it's relevant across the different regions, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
Can you see that?
yes, Kirsten.
Is it big enough?
Yep,
Does that look?
good.
So this is the working Word document. And at our last meeting, we made a whole bunch of edits captured as comments that basically encompassed moving content around and changing some of the overall conclusions. So, we posted a cleaned up PDF copy, and that's what you've seen. And for part one of this that we already looked at, I wasn't gonna go through all those edits again. But I'm happy to, I mean, unless someone wants me to, if you want me to go through the red line strikeout copy, which you board members have had access to view. Otherwise, we can do that or look at any particular section. Like, how would you like to do this?
I have some, what I hope are just quick comments on several items as we go through the goals section, Kirsten.
Okay,
And I'm fine with that too. I had a chance to review and I'm fine with proceeding to the areas that Janet has. I'll note if there's anything along the way that I have.
okay.
Okay,
So Janet, do you want to, so these
yeah,
were
can we go
the,
to-
yeah,
goal one advisory recommendation. The one that mentions the resource-based recreation in addition to the transition infill. Can we just take out the reference to resource recreation? Because even though it may be talking about it in the plan, our recommendation is only about transition infill, and I just think it's confusing.
okay,
Yeah, and I'm happy now.
okay,
Can we go to goal 5?
sure.
And the second required revision,
Mhm.
I think is a little too prescriptive. I don't think that we can tell them or should tell them that they need to have a section in their chapter on this. I think we just need to tell them that they need to include, more information on it, but we don't need to tell them that it has to be a section in the chapter. And such information. Yeah, exactly. So that's, I'm good with that.
Does that look better?
Yep.
You good with
And
that,
then the
Sarah?
I had
last,
something on that too, and I think that's a good change.
okay.
Okay,
And then,
great.
and then the advisory recommendations under that same section, the last one. I think it's too vague and I'm not sure what it's asking for.
Sarah, did you want to explain that one or?
I'm pulling up my notes. We're on page 7.
Yes. I think my interpretation of this board member comment was that maybe there could be mention of, various historical societies, things of that nature.
And I would say that consider adding
But-
information about local historic societies.
Well,
Well,
Sarah,
I'm happy to speak up on that. So I think some of the other plans that we reviewed talk a lot about different social and civic organizations, not just historical societies. I don't think this is necessarily historic sites related. It was
Oh,
more of
okay.
a,
So maybe take out concerning historic sites. And just consider adding more description of area social and civic organizations in chapter 10 and not just about historic sites, correct?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
sorry,
good
my
with that.
intention was to be broad.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I'm good with that. Goal 7 is next for me.
okay,
And advisory recommendation. And I just think they need to be worded more, to be more direct. So it says what isn't done, but it doesn't say what we want them to do or what we recommend that they do. See what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
it should just say discuss impacts, discuss energy equity impacts to specific populations such as. So that's all. It's just it's a syntax thing, I guess. same with the second one. What are we telling them they should do here? Whereas the third one says add action item, so that's all.
Yeah. Does that seem,
Yeah. Goals 10 now is where I'm next. Goal 10.
okay?
Goal 10. Oh, I think we lost our format. So
Oh,
that
yeah, you're
that
right.
needs to be bulleted, I think, is all. And I think,
Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. No.
yeah, the advisory recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way,
So, and I
I'll
think
go
there are
through
2
and
there.
fix
So,
the formatting
so
throughout.
yeah, I think it was just that one though. Yeah, there, that's all. Good. Goal 12. Oh, I think I crossed out that one. I'm okay with goal 12. Goal 13.
I'll clean up all the spacing and it's pretty wonky.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Goal
all right, you'll clean up all
13.
the spacing and there will be another spacing issue. That's the way it rolls. It's,
Yeah, it's Word after all. Goal 13. I wonder if what we're saying is it does not conform. It appears not to conform.
Yeah, the wording of how we're saying this in various places is a little,
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is, so
Yeah.
I,
Oh,
I
it does
am
say not
modeled,
to conform. Did you just
yeah,
add
it does
that?
say appears not to conform. No,
Oh,
I didn't
okay,
just change
okay.
it.
I misread it. So,
Oh, okay.
okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Can I
Goal
just, a
14.
quick mention? Our template document and some of the other decisions have generally used like draft regional plan, but in some places we have draft plan. I mean, I changed them all to draft plan here for consistency, or I tried to. Do we care? I mean, one or the other, but
I think it can be somewhat context or oriented. If we've already said draft regional plan, you know, and we're in the same section, I think it's okay to say draft plan, but I
do you
like
want it
draft
in every
regional plan.
conclusion? I mean, are you guys picky about that? Do you want it to look like that in every, do you care?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. It wasn't 100% consistent in the document, so.
I like
Yeah.
uniformity and brevity, and so I'd agree if we refer to it as the draft regional plan, if we want to just say the draft plan throughout, I'm happy with that too, but I agree, Kirsten, good catch on consistency.
Okay. I'm inclined to
And-
go with just draft plan.
And Janet, I had made my markups for comments. I'm going back to another PDF. And it was the previous language that was not clear, but this fixes it. So
Okay.
yes.
Goal 14.
So before we leave goal 13, Janet, you had said you might have something else to add here. You were
Oh,
gonna
gosh.
ponder it. Did you
Yeah,
want to add anything?
It was
I think-
just, I was gonna look at Rutland.
Yeah.
I didn't do
It's already
that.
mention of it
Sorry.
in the,
Yeah,
it's okay.
okay.
I think Addison also had some good childcare analysis too. So there are some
Do
other
you want me
regions.
to take a look at that and kind of,
Well, Janet, we could simply point them to those. I
Yeah.
think we've done that
Point
with like
them to
community
Rutland
engagement.
and Addison isn't finalized though, but yeah.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
how we worded it, consider how, the Rutland RPC,
Um,
an example.
yeah, Rutland adopted regional plan and the Addison draft plan both could be models for this. Yeah. Okay. Tell me when you're ready to go to goal 14, Kirsten. Okay, goal 14. Here we are. think we should spell out flood hazard area there. And I think that there's a missing word in that sentence somewhere. Let me see. Supports flood hazard policies. However, this should be directly tied to actions that support municipal regulation development.
That support development of.
I don't know. Or,
I think this was the meaning of the
oh,
comment.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. It's okay. Yeah, okay. I was misreading it. Goal 15.
Is that okay?
Hear,
So
Yeah, I
before I
think so.
read this, Janet, I forget, there's been a lot in the last few days, but we had a conversation around how the state is standing up Act 121 with flood hazard areas, and we'll be taking on more of this and to require municipalities to necessarily. So I had flagged here as tied to actions that support, do we want to just say development of river corridor and
Instead
buffer
of
regulations,
municipal?
not necessarily
Yeah.
municipal, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just take out municipal. Leave regulation, just take out municipal. Oh, it's already there at the end. Okay.
Well, is it regulation
I-
including river corridor and buffer or like,
I think it's fine. I think this is also less is more. And I'm fine with the way that it is now.
okay,
So
I'm fine with it too.
development of river corridor, what about flood hazard? So development of flood hazard, river corridor and buffer regulations?
I agree.
Just add flood hazard to the
Sure.
list.
And again, with 121, the state's going to take over some of this, so.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Goal 15, we say we have required revisions, but then the way they're worded, they use the word should instead of must or required or, so I think it just the wording of both of those bullets. If we want to be directive, we should use stronger than should language, I guess. Revise the plan to analyze, right? Instead of saying the plan should be revised, just say revise the plan to address X. Okay, and
This
Same.
reads funny.
yeah, you can, are we coming back to this at a meeting? Or are we trying to finish this
Well-
up today too?
It'd be nice to finish it up because we don't have another scheduled meeting before the due date of the 17th. Or it's due
Right.
on the
Okay.
weekend prior to the 17th. I think we want to make sure it gets out on or before that
Okay.
date.
Yeah. Okay, then I
Um,
would do this, just add the same thing, the plan, revise the plan on the second sentence instead of the plan should detail. Say revise the plan to detail the public, or, okay. Okay. Element number 2 is my next comment.
okay. I think I had something on outreach.
For here,
Um, Well,
isn't that what you just
I'm
had
sorry, it
right
was
there? That was right there.
no, I'm sorry, it was. It was an advisory comment that was listed under a required, no, it was the opposite. It was an advisory recommendation that is written in a way that's mandatory. And it was on page 16 of the PDF. I made a note about it.
And this is yours or Two Rivers?
No, it was,
This one.
yeah, I'm sorry. It was under Two Rivers.
Oh, okay. So there was an
Let me,
advisory.
I'm just gonna make a note here. We can double check that when Brooke comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, apology. I got it mixed up.
Okay.
Okay,
It's understandable.
so,
Okay, so I had a quick comment under element number 2. And it was just to add a cross-reference to goal number 5, where we had required revisions. So right there, draft plan appears to meet this requirement. See required revisions under goal number 5.
so in
Relate-
this overall conclusion,
No, as a separate, just a separate cross-reference, because it is sort of, about
Well-
natural resources.
well, yeah,
Oh,
I
you do?
was. Well,
Oh,
I
never
do,
mind,
but
there it
they're
is.
listed under advisory here, but they're
Oh, that's
required
what it is.
revisions.
They're
above.
required, they're not, that's what my
Well-
comment is. Under goal 5, they are required, not advisory.
Well,
There may
right,
be some
so,
advisory
but
too, but
I know, but when the board discussed this, we decided that this requirement of the element had been met.
right,
That
but
the,
if you're going to make the just
I
it's
agree.
not an advisory recommendation under goal 5, they're required revisions. Just say something like see related. No, it's no, just as part of the sentence before, there are no advisory recommendations here. There are no required recommendations. There's just a cross-reference to goal number 5, required revisions. So I would just put it in parenthetics after that sentence, not within the sentence, but after it. See required revisions, see goal 5 required revisions related to natural resources.
I'm fine with doing it that way. That's,
Yeah. And then crossing out everything below.
be okay with listing the page.
Sure. And then cross out advisory recommendations. And yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
okay.
It's more correct, like it's,
Yeah,
I had paused on this, but was trying to do it aligned with what, how the board wanted it and,
yeah.
okay.
So goal 4 is transportation, right? Where's goal, or I'm sorry, element 4, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yes,
Element
yes.
4. So confusing. Okay, and we have required revisions. Just looking for clarity here. I think this is a little unclear what exactly we want. So revise the transportation element to provide prioritized list of projects, and not sure what that last sentence means. The map needs to be interpreted with words and prioritization.
Well, it's acknowledging that there is a map that lists prospective projects, but there's no
Okay.
description or prioritization or sort of inventory.
I don't think we need the last sentence. I think we can just say
Yeah.
the transportation element of the draft plan should include a prioritized list of possible projects.
Well, if we're saying should, then why is it required? It's required to provide a list of prioritized projects, is it? Is that a requirement?
Well, here's what the statute says. Transportation element consisting of a statement of present and prospective. And Chris is here, by the way. Chris
Hi,
Campany.
Chris.
I think what Alex had caught was that statute requires not only the map of the facilities, but also a list. And I think where he felt like we weren't comporting with statute was that we didn't have that list of bridges, and we basically needed to add the list of bridges, is my recollection.
Well, the bridges
That's a
detail
separate-
was listed under advisory. This was more other infrastructure.
So can you go back to the statutory language, Kirsten? Let me just read
Sure.
it quickly. Okay.
And I apologize, I'm kind of having to multitask right now too, so I
Statement of
missed a little
present
bit.
and prospective transportation and circulation facilities, a map showing existing and proposed, including and streets, and other, and recommendations to meet future needs for such facilities with indications of priorities. Okay, so, and method of financing. So, yeah, I think revise the transportation element to explicitly provide planned projects and financing for them or something like that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
Chris Campany, Wyndham Regional Commission. Sorry, I didn't identify myself. Jan, I think we would get it. If this is helpful to you, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth,
Right,
but basically
right.
to say, to explicitly identify the elements as required by statute, we could figure that out unless you feel like you need to identify the specific things, but that takes the burden off of you and puts it on us.
as described in statute. Yeah,
Okay, apologies if I'm overstepping. I'm just trying to be
No,
helpful.
no, it's fine, Chris. We're a little inundated with words right now.
How's that sound?
That's good. All right.
And the bridge
Now,
comment
I-
was mine. In some ways, it sort of like gets wrapped up in, again, I'm a less is more person, so I think bridges are part of the need for planning for prioritized projects. So you could almost just have the first bullet and say possible projects including bridges.
You mean to take out the advisory rec?
Yeah.
Just need a little S there, Kirsten. For bridges. Oh, and projects, yeah.
I mean, is that,
And then remove the advisory recommendation.
to include? Yeah. Guess including's fine. Okay, and then get rid of this.
Yeah. And I'm good to move on to the land use element
Okay,
at this point. What about you, Sarah?
Hang on, let me flip screens. I think so. I'm just going through, was there anything more substantial, Kirsten, that we in housing? Or did we, in terms of changes that you made between now and Monday?
no, I mean, it was really moving stuff around.
Okay,
Yeah,
All
I
right.
guess it was, I had a question about this. This was one of the recommendations that I think had been part of a required revision, and then it got shifted to advisory. It was like when we were discussing it, I'll move all that down to advisory, but the way this is worded, it identifies that it does, you know, that the plan doesn't sufficiently address that. And I don't know if we want to reword that so that it's worded as advisory, or if we, or, if, you know, you
Yeah.
want to include that as a required item.
I
It
don't
wasn't my
remember
own
why.
comment.
It was mine. And I think some of what we've added to goal 15. But it was just in terms of ways to get at.
Foster the equity
correct.
piece. Oh, so how about just consider revising the plan to address equity and ability to afford housing, or to further, or revising the plan to further address. Yeah,
Are you okay with that, Sarah?
I think you deleted address by accident.
because she added it.
Oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
added it
Yep.
there. Yeah,
Yep,
sorry.
Tired eyes.
Yeah,
I think the other bullets are all advisory, the way they're
Sure.
worded. And there's a reference to those listed under goal 11.
mhm.
So are we ready to go to the land use?
I am.
Sarah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so
um. There, um. There was some,
this is content that's been added since the first version of part 2.
Yeah. I'm okay with
And
that content.
it's
Under,
some of, oh, go ahead.
I'm okay with it. Don't
Okay.
need to discuss. What about you, Sarah?
I think I'm okay with it.
Okay, next page. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Keep going. Advisory recommendations. There was, again, this is just, I think, because, you know, you're pasting in individual board members' comments, but some of them need to be reworded to be actual recommendations instead of just a note that somebody made. So,
Sure. So
so
just
what
reword
exactly
it.
is this asking for, if anything, right? I
Yeah,
don't
so
think we
it's-
even need, I would just take that one off.
I'm fine with that. I mean, but I
Okay.
don't, you know, but it, you know, include,
I mean, actually, it's fine if include a listing of villages and hamlets in the, consider including, yeah.
yeah, so this, I don't understand what, was there more content? What's this +9? Like what,
I don't
it
know.
looks like maybe it was just a accident when,
Accident that I added? How bizarre.
yeah, well, it was attributed to you. Here, I'm gonna,
Just accept that deletion, yeah. Okay. So there was the Vermont Yankee comment on enterprise section. I would move that from this section to the enterprise section. What is that? Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do it afterwards if that's okay.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
I have a change, I think, on Brattleboro Downtown Center. That's my first
You were
one.
you were just fading out. Can you say that
Sorry.
again?
Chris has his hand raised, but I also have, my first one is on the Brattleboro Downtown Center.
Okay.
Chris, what do you have for us?
I'm not looking at the map right this minute, but I thought we had the VY plant site mapped as an enterprise area.
Right, and I'm just telling Kirsten that this comment should be under our response section that concerns enterprise, not this general section.
But I guess I'm struggling to know what this comment is about now, because it can be reused and the new owner is planning to reuse it for commercial use. So I guess I'm just trying
I
to
got you. I got you.
get clarity on what
Yeah.
you're telling us
I
to
think
do or
what we
asking us.
what we wanted was more information to that effect in the plan so that we know that. So yeah, that's right. Now I'm recalling this. Thank you, Chris. So
Sure.
move this to the enterprise section, Kirsten, and all it really is this is a request for more information about how it can be used currently.
Happy to do that.
Okay,
So-
thanks.
Let's reword that here. So instead of saying consider a special land use category, I mean, do we still want to?
No,
have
we
that as
don't want to
part-
say that. No, because
Okay.
Chris has
um,
indicated that it is available as an enterprise area and there are plans to use it. Whereas the way the plan talks about it right now, it sounds like it's not going to be usable for decades. So the plan just needs to be, it needs to flesh out how this can be used as an enterprise area.
Does that sound okay? Explain
Yes.
opportunities for site reuse or potential
Yes.
opportunities?
Yes.
No, I'll just interrupt. Janet, do you mind if I butt in for just a quick second? I
Sure.
got a text message from Brooke asking you to save the Two Rivers document so that she can put her changes into it while she's working
Oh,
off
okay.
screen.
So
Okay,
it's still
thank you.
open. Okay, thank you.
It's a good reminder for me to hit the save button too.
And that was Jenny Rona speaking.
Okay, I saved it and closed it. Okay, so Kirsten's gonna move this and she's gonna reword it to say that really all we're asking for is explanation of potential opportunities for site reuse. Okay. Downtown centers.
I'm gonna add this
Brattleboro.
page number. Okay, Brattleboro?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When you get to the downtown center,
There's a,
gone
to
too
me.
far.
Yeah, go up a little. It
So,
says, keep
there's a-
going. Wait, somewhere there's a,
Description of the
Kirsten,
Brattleboro.
will you go to the search up above and type in the words "to me"?
To me, like that?
Yes, yes,
With uppercase?
no, but it doesn't matter.
Well,
Oh,
it's
77.
77 results. I mean, that's,
How can there be 77 results?
What are you looking
That's
for,
weird.
Janet?
There was somewhere in the Brattleboro downtown center comment, there was, it appears to me not
oh,
to,
yeah,
So
sorry.
is
I
it-
think the way the
Okay.
document's organized, it gives all the definitions and general information on all of them,
together.
and then it goes
Okay,
through
yeah,
them.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
Okay,
it
there we
starts
go.
here.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
proposed area along da appears to me to be more suited. So take out the to me.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
I
So,
think that
and
might
actually,
have been.
I'm going to stop you right here because I have a comment on all this. This was my comment And it was not about the downtown that is more suited for transition infill, but I felt that the PGA. So
So it
my
should be
comment on this
moved
was
to the PGA section rather than.
others are in agreement.
I'm fine
So-
with that.
Okay,
So yeah, move it from here to the PGA section. Yeah.
Okay, and then we're gonna have. It's for Brattleboro, it's gonna say this. Right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Wait, can I see the comment that we're gonna move?
please explain the plans.
Okay, yeah, okay, just checking. Go ahead, I'm good. I guess, you know what I would suggest, Kirsten, is instead of naming all the ones that appear to meet statutory standard individually, maybe just list them as,
Yeah, that's fine. I
appearing-
saw that's how
and
you
that
did your
way-
two rivers.
and that
This
way,
is-
those that we have substantive comments on will pop out. And I don't know, it seems.
Yeah, I don't care. I
Yeah.
formatted it the same way that Alex had done NVDA. It's, doesn't matter.
yeah.
I'm happy to just do as you had done for Two Rivers, list them all the following ones meet the statutory standards. That's
Yeah,
fine.
and then
That's a quick
focus
change.
the comments on the others that don't.
Yeah. So
I just
are
thought
we,
it was hard to follow this way.
so I want to stop at Dummerston.
okay, West or,
So I don't know whose comments, but I did not have an issue with Dummerston, so I don't know if.
I believe this was Alex, but I don't, I
Yeah,
can
it
check
sounds
now
like-
if you would like.
Because Alex had this comment in general. And I would not agree with it either.
So the Dummerston Village Center I had is containing a post office, a church, small community center.
Town
So I
garage
felt
too.
like that there was a lot within that. But
Oh, sorry,
is
Chris, your
also-
hand is up. Can you enlighten us?
Well, so that, I think that should read Town Grange, not garage,
Okay.
which makes a difference, right, functionally? The other thing I was gonna add, just for my clarity, and Matt on our staff, probably knows this, but regarding Brattleboro, not refuting what you guys are suggesting, we can provide more information, but there's an entire VTrans, master plan for Putney Road which is geared towards pedestrian, reorientation and roundabouts and other things, because we're talking
Just the kind of
future.
information we want.
What's that?
Just the kind of information we want.
Yeah, and I just wanted to confirm that because we're talking future land use, right, that a lot of VTrans projects are being delayed and some are being delayed substantially, but you
Yeah.
guys review that, that's what you're looking for, right? And I'm sure, like I say, I'm sure Matt and everybody else is up to speed on it. Okay, got it. Okay, thanks.
So what I just bolded has been part of the response, but maybe that's the only part that we need here.
Yeah. I don't agree with Alex on this, neither does Sarah. So,
I'm good with that.
and actually, you don't need to bother to list, you don't need to reformat it, Kirsten. I just feel like in general, for the future, that it'd be easier to follow these if we didn't include both the ones that we want, that we think are problematic mixed in with the ones that aren't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. It
So-
won't take long to clean it
No,
up.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, well.
It's too much work.
All right.
So anyway,
Are we-
Harmonyville, where's
good until-
Harmonyville?
I was gonna say, I'm good until Harmonyville.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's go to Harmonyville.
We're in
There
Harmony
it
on it.
is.
Well, this is another, the overall conclusion is, but I mean, this was sort of a placeholder. Like I knew these would need discussion.
So
Can I pull up the map on this one real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop
Sure.
sharing.
I did not have an issue with this. I had notes about included businesses, including a bank and an artist studio. I didn't have the same concerns about
Yeah.
a different flu area.
Chris, which village are we talking about in Townsend? Is it the southerly, the easterly for Harmonyville?
I couldn't hear you over our air conditioner.
Oh, sorry. Which village is Harmonyville? The one nearest to Jamaica?
The one closer to Newfane. It's
Oh,
right
okay,
as you go into Townsend
That's
It's
right.
like in the
Village.
center.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get there. Yeah, Harmonyville. So, just gonna turn this off briefly. So this is Harmonyville. And it looks like it has a mix of commercial and residential a little bit. And so maybe this was Alex again, who I can't remember, but Chris, can you enlighten us? This is a sort of mixed use.
Yeah, it's housed, has manufacturing. There's a small, tiny home manufacturer,
Oh, yeah.
River Valley Credit Union, store,
Yeah.
former Wyndham Central Supervisory Union offices.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's confirmation enough. I think Kirsten, we can go with it appears to comply.
And the state's largest sycamore.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Okay. Can you see that again?
Yeah,
Okay.
looks good.
Do we want to discuss West Wardsboro, Westminster?
Yeah, because we need to, let me go there. So you had different, you had competing feedback from board members. That's why these
Yes.
are stated that way. Okay.
Yes.
So Wardsboro,
I didn't
West
have an issue with
Wardsboro?
this.
yeah, I don't know that I do either.
I had that the area had retail and inns.
Yeah, so I
Felt
would
like it was
take out the
pretty mixed.
consider an alternate again.
Yeah, so Westminster needs to readopt
That's
its town
okay.
plan.
Yeah, but you
And-
note that elsewhere. I think it's okay the way it is.
I had something in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I disagree with the Bonneville comment, I think.
Are we talking
Oh,
about
before
Jackson?
that, before that I had Jacksonville.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right,
Should I go there on the map or?
hang on. So I think they had about, you can go on there on the map. So I think there's an issue here in the comments about demonstrate that the area, the expansion appears to be in undeveloped forest. I noted that a lot of the area was FHA, and so I was okay with the proposed expansion. I think we saw very similar within MBDA, but so I think just with the flood resiliency peace of mind, didn't have an issue, but I'm not sure what other board members think.
Sorry.
I don't have a concern with the expansion area.
You want me to show it? So people
Sure.
can see
We
what
have
we're
time.
talking about?
Sure.
So this is Jacksonville Village, and the legacy area is the hatched in orange, and this is an expansion that extends beyond the the municipal village boundary a little bit. But the idea, I think, as I recall, Chris, is that this is needed for housing development, and they don't qualify for village areas, so trying to, right? I see you nodding. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the existing village is in not only flood, it's both
Oh, that's,
flood hazard and fluvial erosion,
mhm.
and they have wastewater.
Okay. So, great. I'm okay with it. Kirsten.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the document.
Sure, though I do want to show Winhall.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
get to Winhall. Stratton. Okay, Winhall. So I guess, am I still showing, or are you? Neither one of us?
Neither one of us.
Okay. So here's Bondville. There's a legacy village in Bondville, which is expanded a little bit. Winhall has lots of flood hazard in this area. And let me get reference layers. Wait,
It's under water resource grouping.
is it missing?
What are you looking for?
The river corridors and, oh,
Go
here
down
it
to
is.
natural resources.
Yeah, I
Natural-
got it. I
yeah.
got it. There it is. There was a river up there. I don't know what that is. Okay. So they were looking to define some village area that isn't in the flood hazard or river corridor. And so they went west. And this is a stretch that is it goes to the library, which I think is here. Chris, do you know?
That's correct. At the
Yeah.
intersection there.
Right. And they felt that it was, too constrained in here to expand much beyond that, but they do want, they have a very active conversations going on about housing. And so I kind of want to I want to defer to them on this. And rather than tell Chris's staff to do something different. So
Are
I
you
don't
ready to go
know.
back to the document?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I see two rivers.
Can you see the Word document?
No, we see the map.
Sorry about that. Okay, now do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we talked about Jacksonville. We were good with that.
So I
Um,
would just take that second part. I would just leave, I guess my recommendation is to take that away. And then when we get to the Winhall Village area conversation to revisit, but I would just remove that you have highlighted.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, as long as it's somewhere. Are you good with that, Sarah? Keep going?
Yes.
Okay.
And then my
Um,
next comment was just in the Brattleboro is once you move the PGA comment from downtown center down. That was just,
Is there anything here, Janet, that you want to stop at or?
No.
Okay. So go all the way down to PGA
Well, wait,
Brattleboro?
wait, Bondville. I do want to go to
Oh,
Bondville
I'm
again.
sorry. Yeah,
So
okay.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
go ahead.
So, uh, I guess I'm okay with asking for additional information, additional supporting information, but I do want to, be clear that I think that the, that extending the village this far is okay in this particular, the village area in this particular municipality because they are constrained and this is an area that gets a lot of community use between that library and what is identified as the village center, even though it's somewhat far. And Chris, do you know where Win Hall is in any planning stages around that area?
I just know they're having a lot of conversation about
Yeah.
it. They're also talking about infrastructure, like village supporting infrastructure. As you guys know too, when we did a 4-town flood adaptation, housing plan and flood adaptation charrette up there after the 2023 flooding. And because there was a bridge just, what would that be, just south of Bonneville that washed out, a state highway bridge on Route 30. I think they're really hyper aware now of the fluvial erosion risks to Bonneville.
Yeah.
And hence they've actually talked about potentially even a new village center elsewhere. This map doesn't reflect that, but I'm only mentioning it because they're really they really recognize the risk to that, which is basically right at the gateway to Stratton.
Yeah.
And so I think they're very aware of what the risks are there. So they really want to try to have a more flood resilient village and gateway to Stratton.
So, Kirsten and Sarah, are you okay sort of softening the objection to this or no?
I am, and I also wanted to focus on the comment received about omission of encroachments into flood hazard and river corridor areas. And that's why I scrolled to the statutory language. I thought that might be helpful to get us reoriented to that. So it's, if the municipality has regs, if they're, you have to omit those areas unless the municipality has those regs.
Is this village
So-
area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Right.
now, sorry, I'm gonna go down to,
Right.
where were we again? Bonneville?
Yeah, right before PGAs.
Sorry. No, this is a
Right.
little,
There.
okay, right there.
Yeah.
So this is saying, yeah,
So, did you check and they do not have river corridor regulations? Is that why?
this was not my own comment.
Oh,
And I think the way the checklist was filled out, it identified that it met the standard, they have the
They do have.
regs or they've omitted.
um,
Chris, I don't know if Chris is looking, but I didn't go to their website to verify information. But if we're gonna say this, I think, if we want to say they require omission, unless bylaws are in place,
yeah.
right? Like,
I'm just looking for their bylaws on their website and don't see them.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm just not remembering off the top of my head what they've got.
Let me see, government planning. Document center, here we go. Documents. I don't see their zoning on their document center. Well, then let's word it in a way, yeah, that's fine, the way you've worded it, Sarah.
If you got-
Sarah.
If you guys want to keep going, I'm looking, I pulled up their zoning bylaws on our website.
Okay.
I'll look and see if I can find what they've got.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Like, do we wanna, so I just added this qualifier, unless they've
Yeah.
got bylaws.
Right. And that's
And
fine.
I think we were going to omit this latter
No,
content.
no, we weren't going to admit it here. We do want information. It's just, it wasn't relevant to the center. It was relevant to the village area.
Well, okay,
We
I
want
thought,
information because they don't provide it in the plan, or in the application documents, but I am inclined to, say it's okay, but we still want to see the information saying that they have plans to, you know, to make
Okay,
it
do you-
more pedestrian.
do you want to say that, the highlighted part?
I'm still trying to
No.
locate I'm still trying to locate their flood hazard bylaws, but in their local hazard mitigation plan, it states that Winhall has been proactive in developing a fluvial erosion bylaw, which is included in their floodplain regulations.
Right, so it sounds like they do have it. And Kirsten, I would take that last sentence out that you currently have highlighted.
Yeah, because it's saying, consider expanding in the opposite direction. But
Right,
While we're saying is just supply more information. Are you good with
Yeah.
that, Sarah?
I'm fine.
And
Yep.
so do we want to just omit this part?
yeah, because they have bylaws. You could ask them to confirm it, and, unless, what you found, Chris, what are the dates on the regulations that you found?
Flood hazard bylaws adopted, 12/7/11. They may have been one of the earliest adopters post Irene of
Okay,
river corridors, so that would make sense. But definitely looks like they've got flood hazard bylaws. I'm gonna have to confirm the river corridor.
okay,
They have a fluvial erosion, even in 2011, they have a fluvial erosion hazard zone.
okay, which is just another name for river corridor essentially.
Yeah, it says this is per their bylaws. Regulated flood hazard areas. These regulations shall apply to fluvial erosion hazard areas and special flood hazard areas in the town of Winhall. So they were actually an early adopter.
Okay,
Okay, so
Thank
are we
you.
good with that?
sure.
Like, provide more info, including the bylaws.
They're actually really aggressive. It's impressive.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about the Brattleboro PGA, I think?
Sarah?
No, I just had the note from before of moving from the downtown center to the PGA.
Okay. Keep going.
I'm
Yeah.
all set.
Me too,
Okay.
actually.
Do you want to go any other page, like all set with the rest of the document?
Yeah, just, you want the couple of things that we already talked about, move the, rephrase the Vermont Yankee, put it under enterprise instead of general.
Right, that'll come down. I mean, do you want me to?
Where do we discuss that mandatory policy that we talked about last time? I just wanted to revisit that before we finish off.
The future land use?
Wasn't it a housing policy?
Oh, that's under the housing goal or
Right.
element, but, and by the way, that's listed under the housing goal or element as advisory, but then elsewhere we're saying, you really need additional information to
Yeah.
support this, so.
Right, so let's go back to that and consider the wording so that we're consistent with
Okay,
our
so,
feedback on it.
I think it was policy 12.
Okay. Yep, and
Um,
this,
yeah, I guess I didn't call it out as policy 12. So which is the housing goal? Is it 8, 11,
the housing goal is,
Was- 11?
I made a list somewhere, where is it?
Yeah, so it's goal 11.
Okay, yeah,
Must have been down under the element.
housing element,
Sorry
Okay.
for anyone getting dizzy.
element,
Yeah, here we go. This must be, yeah, so it's element 9. We say appears to meet, and then we have these various advisory recommendations. And
right,
then we
and policy
say
12 is called
this.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we should put that above the advisory. And
so,
we're asking for more information to justify its mandatory nature and inclusion.
yeah, I'll clean that up for however else we've worded it. And then do we want to say appears to not meet or may not meet? Like,
Um, The element is there, the element
Mhm.
addresses what is there. I think it's just, there's an aspect of it that may not, that needs to be justified.
yeah, sorry, I'm just looking to hire it though, where we say need more info. I'll find it and word
There
it the
isn't-
same.
We don't
but
have any other substantial issues with the housing element, correct?
No,
Right,
correct.
Right. And I think this is, once we got sort of to the root of it, more advisory. I think we did ask for additional information when we discussed this before. I'm fine at leaving it as it meets, but we really would be appreciative
because
of
it's,
additional.
the way that it's worded, it's not really enforceable as mandatory because it says when appropriate, so it's qualified. But let's get more information on it.
And I think on Monday we heard from Chris Campany that they are willing to provide that this has been something that's been in effect for possibly decades.
Yeah,
So I trust in that good faith effort. So Kirsten, good work. I'm fine with you doing a final cleanup and getting this out the door. I don't know where you're at, Janet, but
yep, me too.
Well, maybe Janet, if you could give it if you have capacity to give it a proofread, that would be great. Like I'll do this, or maybe
No,
someone else, maybe I can grab Brooke or Sarah if you have time.
I was gonna
Like
say,
it's,
that'd be great.
if you want to, once you do final cleanup, send it my way. I'm happy to, but
Yeah,
Chris
it's
has
just nice
his.
to have another set of eyes on it, so
Okay,
thank you.
yeah.
Chris has his
Chris,
hand
go
raised.
ahead.
I have to go, but one thing that would be helpful on that comment about that particular policy is part of what flagged this for Alex is actually language that wasn't included in the comment that goes on to talk about shall provide. Talks about having to provide like contributions to housing mitigation funds and that kind of thing. It'd
Yeah.
just be helpful for me to the commission to kind of highlight what the fuller concern was, because I think we'd be open to amending this to where it becomes, because we've tried to use it, but it's always functioned as being advisory. So I think we could make that language probably less prescriptive and more advisory. Because I think the point is is having the applicant tell us what their thoughts are on providing housing for their increased workforce. So I think that's our main goal.
Yeah. You hope they're thinking about it and maybe even planning to address the issue. Yeah. Yep. Thanks. Okay. So, do you want to make a motion, Sarah, to accept this draft regional plan response? Or pre-application, do you want to make a motion to accept
Sure.
this pre-application response as we discussed today?
Sure, I'm happy to
okay.
vote to
move to.
Right. I'm happy to move to send out the pre-application response as drafted with the edits discussed today for Wyndham Region.
Okay. How about approving the pre-application response as drafted with edits incorporated as today?
I'm happy for the amendment.
Okay. Then I will second that. And let's vote. I'll do a roll call vote. Janet Hurley, I vote aye. Sarah?
Sarah Had, I vote aye.
Kirsten?
Kirsten Sultan, aye.
Brooke? You're still muted, Brooke,
You're
sorry.
muted.
Oh, we still have an audio problem with Brooke? Yeah, she's calling back in. I had that problem 2 weeks ago. Okay, Brooke,
Brooke Dingledine abstaining.
thank you.
I'm not assigned to it.
So that pre-application response is approved by the board as drafted with edits as discussed today to be completed by Kirsten. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kirsten. Brooke, did you type some language into that document while we were otherwise occupied?
I did. If you want to pull it up and look at page 25, I saved the document again after I made the red line strikeout changes.
Okay, just a moment. Still, it's thinking about opening. There we go. Share. Okay, can you see it? And you said page 25?
Yes.
Okay. Almost there, sorry. So the blue is Brooke.
Right.
Should I read it out loud? Just so people that maybe can't see it can hear. Looks like Stephen got up to try to see the screen. So I'll read it. The draft regional plan appears to meet this requirement. However, the plan makes reference to a recent court case Taft Street DRB and NOV appeals, in which the Vermont Supreme Court ruled that municipalities possess the authority to enforce local zoning bylaws on small-scale agriculture and cannabis cultivation activities, determining that state agricultural rules do not automatically grant total immunity from local zoning. In response to the Taft Street decision, the Vermont General Assembly passed H 941, Act 166, an act relating to municipal regulation of agriculture, which clarifies and narrows municipal authority over agricultural activities. The act states that the legislature's intent is to reaffirm that municipalities generally may not regulate farming activities or the construction of farm structures through local zoning when those activities are subject to Vermont's required agricultural practices. It also creates several targeted exemptions. Municipalities should review zoning bylaws and agricultural provisions to ensure consistency with these updated limits on local regulatory authority, which became effective on July 1. On page 79, the plan, strike the sentence, the court conclusion creates the opportunity for municipalities to regulate all aspects of farming that blah, blah, blah. So we're saying strike that sentence. On page 86, strike the reference to the court case. On page 85, strike recommendation 10 that TRORC should give testimony to the state legislature to advise on the matter of municipal zoning and the agricultural exemption. Okay.
That may be more than what you, those are the three sections where it was referred to in the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
The last paragraph above the required revisions, I didn't know whether or not you were interested in putting that in there about, that municipalities should review, but I thought maybe that was information that the Regional Planning Commission might want to suggest in their plan or
And
not.
so that's what I would say is put that as an advisory recommendation. Did you add that? So I
No,
would say,
Yeah, I just put it above. So if you want to cut and paste that and put it as advisory.
okay. I think I'm good with that, Brooke.
You might
Here's
I
want
am
to,
too.
that beginning of that paragraph that you moved, you might want to just either delete it or make it part of the paragraph above, because it is a paragraph break between those. Where it says it also creates several targeted exemptions. I think it's not bad information to put in there.
I don't either. So I just,
back it up
I-
so it is part right after the sentence RAPs.
I did, but it doesn't change that because we're using track changes.
Yeah.
So let me just, well, let me see if it did that. So. How's that? Is that what you meant?
No, I
You meant put it somewhere
undo
else?
that. I think that should be its own paragraph.
Oh, okay.
It's at the end of the
Sorry, hold on. Let me put it back. Okay.
Just go
Sorry.
to the end of that paragraph and hit delete so that the sentence, it also creates several targeted exceptions, becomes part of the paragraph above. If you go to where it says RAPs, period,
Yeah.
just hit
Oh,
delete.
that's a new paragraph?
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
new
I see what
paragraph.
you're saying. It's hard to see that that's a new paragraph because it's, I see.
That's a new page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just accept that change. And put a
Yep.
space there. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Now I see what you were saying. Okay, so we're good with this.
Great.
And,
I guess,
and so the only thing that's left to do, I think, is that I have a lot of cross-referencing and I need to add the pagination. For those cross-references.
so I apologize. Can we go back just for a moment to the new language that
Yes.
Brooke helped with?
Yes.
So the last advisory or required revision is that we're requiring that they strike recommendation 10, that Two Rivers should give testimony to advise on these municipal matters. I don't know why we could prescribe that that's a required revision. I mean, I think it will go under advisory.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to put it there. The issue is moot now, so, but
Yeah.
yeah, it probably is not like a required thing, but to bring it to their attention would be good. Because it doesn't really make much sense.
And I
as-
don't know why that happened. It's God. Okay.
I agree with you. I just don't know that we can make it a required revision. It's just a little.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yep. I was trying to get
Thank
done
you.
before you guys were done. So,
Okay. All right. Now we're good? All right,
Good.
so anybody want to make a motion on this one?
sure. I would make a motion that we approve the pre-application response draft after additional cross-referencing by Janet, such that it can be provided and sent out to the regional planners and all of the interested parties.
And this is for the Two Rivers Ottaquechee
Right.
draft
For Two
regional
Rivers
plan?
Ottaquechee- For
Plan,
Two Rivers Ottaquechee, you got it.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you,
Oh,
Brooke.
yeah.
And Kirsten. I will ask for board members to vote. I'm Janet Hurley. I vote aye. Brooke,
Brooke Dingeldine, I vote aye.
Kirsten,
Kirsten, I vote aye. With a
Sarah.
note, I know we're past the discussion phase, but I just wanted, for the benefit of anyone who might have been wondering, are we going to go back to page 23 of this document? I had checked and we're all set. Like there wasn't any lingering item that I was wondering
Okay.
about for this decision. We caught it.
Okay. Okay, and Sarah, how do you vote on the motion to approve the pre-application response for Two Rivers Ottaquechee?
Sarah had, I abstain.
Okay, thank you. That passes that motion, so I will accept the red line changes and add the cross-reference page numbers and get that out as soon as possible. Sarah?
And Janet, and just to remind you, Janet, as we discussed, also there was the citizenry issue, not just the municipalities.
Yes, I will add those words back in.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep. Sarah?
I would move that the board needs to discuss or have confidential attorney-client communications and move that we find premature knowledge of these matters and place the board at substantial disadvantage and enter executive session.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you, Kirsten. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will return to this meeting after our executive session to report any decisions that we may have made. Okay. Thank you. See you in a minute.
I still can't hear you guys. Darn it. Can you guys hear me?
I can
Yes.
hear you, but I can't hear Catherine,
Can you
who
speak?
is talking.
Yes, we hear you.
I still can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay, now I can hear Catherine and Jenny. Okay, we're just waiting for Brooke to get audio.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's.
Uh-oh, but we hear echoes.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, got it. Okay. All right, we are back from executive session and do not have any decisions to report out. So we only have one item left here. Sarah,
Motion to adjourn?
thank you.
I'll second.
Kirsten, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That is 4 ayes. That is all of us present. So we are adjourned. Thank you for being with us and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.